6 years ago, I came out. I was just sitting in my bedroom watching YouTube videos, and somehow I landed up on this video about it was a Spanish TV series, and I felt so emotional watching the story of two women falling in love, and that surprised me. I'm not someone that gets emotional. I've seen Kabhi Khushi, Kabhi Gum, and all those emotional movies, but that never made me emotional. And this is why it was such a big surprise for me, which made me think about why am I reacting this way? Why is my body telling me that there's something different about this video? That's how I realized I was gay. Followed up by a lot of heartbreaks and Tinder dates, Hinge dates, a lot of those. But what I really want to talk today is that coming out to myself and to my parents was easy compared to, well, it wasn't. Okay, let me reframe this. Coming out to my Indian parents wasn't the easiest, but it wasn't the hardest thing too. I think the hardest thing for me after coming out is navigating the queer culture and the identification within those identities. Let me tell you. So, when you come out, the biggest question is, what are you? In a sense, what the question is like, what's your sexual identity? Are you bi, lesbian, pansexual, non-binary? What are you? And the easiest answer to start with generally is like, oh, I'm just maybe bi because I like I used to like boys. I've been in relationship with boys, so now I'm realizing I'm into girls as well. So probably I'm into both, and that's basically how I identified for 3 years after I came out. But the identification that went from no thinking that I am bi to knowing that I am a lesbian was the hardest thing ever. I think the society has primed us so much to be so male centered. Everything we grew up like in our childhood, from our hair, from makeup, from our dressing choices, from everything is about finding the perfect husband. Nothing is about a life where that husband might not even exist. And I think when I realized my life without a husband, it didn't scare me. I feel like having a husband or a life, spending my whole life with one guy scared me. But as soon as I thought about doing the same things with the girl, it didn't scare me. It felt so natural to me. And over the time, as I was coming from or into my queer identity or queer journey, going from being bi or saying that, hey, I'm into both, to saying I'm only into girls, I think the journey, the answers or the question that really helped me answer that big question, whether I'm bi or lesbian, is every time I would go on a date or doing or seeing a future with someone, when I used to think about the gender of that person, as soon as it would be a male, I would cringe. I would just be like, ugh, like instantly gag. Nothing about it made me comfortable. Thinking just about going on a date with guy would make me so uncomfortable in my body. And it would be opposite when I would think about going on a date with a girl or spending life with a girl. And that's when I knew that maybe it's not that I'm into both guys and girls. I think I'm just into girls. And coming to that realization, it's not an easy one, because now you're just, when you come out bi, there's still hope, right? There's still hope of finding the husband, that life that your parents you saw since you were kids. But as soon as you identify as lesbian, now everyone is like, oh, you're gay, like you're the topmost level of gay. I mean, there's no bad. Now it's like a compliment to me when someone says, oh, you're gay or you look gay. But thinking about a life, and about a life where it's not what you have grown up with, the idea of that life, and letting go of that idea that you grew up with for yourself, for your family, it's a big one. I think it really makes you feel guilty in some ways that you are disappointing your parents, your family, in some ways by not giving them the life that they thought when they had a daughter. They would never see a son in law, or they never would see kids per se, according, well, things have changed now, but with science, but you have this big guilt that you live with, that the life that they saw for you is never gonna become true. And I definitely went through that guilt of me just not being a good kid to them, me failing as a daughter. I think even now, me talking about that is so emotional, because it's truly something that you have to live up. Like it's the loss of that idea, or the grief of that idea, just stays with you. Like, don't get me wrong, I have been a great kid. I have done IIT. I've made such a great career. I have moved to Canada by myself, took no money from my parents. Like, I'm doing really good for myself, but just the fact that I'm gay makes me think that everything else I did in my life is a failure.